Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good morning, Philippines. You are watching the Business Portal, your gateway to business trends and opportunities. Coming to you live at Destiny Cable, I am your host, Rowena Cuyco Suarez, and you can just call me Ro. Our segment, Investment Academy, shows us the different ways to help Filipinos increase their investment capacity, financial literacy, and awareness. Investment Academy will show you not only how to make money, but also how to create wealth. Now, for our Just Ask Ro portion, Annabelle is from Manila. Her question is, I want to buy a second-hand car. I earn 30,000 a month and my expenses are approximately 10,000 a month. Do you advise? You earn 30,000 a month and your expenses are 10,000. Well, one thing that I'll ask you, do you have money for the down payment of the car? Because usually if it's a second-hand car, there is a down payment of at least 20 to 25%. So it will depend on how much your car is. If you're, I think a Honda Civic, a second hand would be cost you around 250 to 300,000. So 20% of that would be 200. So 250,000 is like 50,000. So you have to have that 50,000 first, and then you can go apply loans in the bank. I know they give loans they give loans for cars for at least mga 5 years to pay, but then at least also the car has to be 5 years old. I think after 5 years old, hindi na nila igagrant yung loan. So that means you'll have to pay cash. And also in some second-hand car shops, they have their own financing. So, well, you did mention if you were able to save up for the down payment. So, if you did, then go ahead. I think it's good for you. I mean, kasi having a car will also give you a lot of convenience. So, tingnan mo lang na kasya pa rin yung magiging monthly payment mo. And don't forget your 20% savings per month. That's what you need to fund for your future. Okay, another question from Roland of Pasay. I am single, 30 years old, earning 20,000 a month. I live with family sharing 5,000 a month in expense. How can I save? So you're earning 20,000, savings mo is supposed to be 20, so at least 20%, that's 4,000 a month. I think yes, you can save. Number one, you just have to first, at least yung 20,000, you'll have to have 60,000 in savings in the bank. So just in case mawalan ka ng trabaho, then you will have to get money from there. After you've already reached your 20,000, your 60,000, then start investing in long-term savings plan like high yield savings, mutual funds. Stocks, I would recommend that after you've already established your basic savings plan. So for questions, you may get in touch with us through 0917-862-7576, 0917-86-ASKRO. You can also email us at justaskro@gmail.com and Twitter justaskro. Summer is just around the corner. Pretty soon, our children are off to their long-awaited summer vacations. Parents look for different ways to occupy their children's time. The older bunches as teenagers are looking for summer jobs. Let us learn from our guests today on how their business thrives all throughout the year. BLSS or LOZADA Swim School is the only swimming institution in the Philippines that provides personalized instructions to infants, children, and adults, as well as competitive and comprehensive programs in various clubs, schools, and other private and public institutions. To know more about it, let us welcome our guest, the CEO of LOZADA Swim School, Mr. Anthony Lozada. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Ro.
How are you?
Fine.
So did you do your swim today?
Actually, I did some teaching this morning, but then again, canceled it because I wanted to be here early.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. I know you have a busy schedule, especially now March has already come. So anyway, so a brief history on BLSS.
Well, my father started to teach swimming way back in 1956 because he was a member then of the national team. He gets to swim and compete all over the world. So he got to see how the kids are being taught how to swim. So since they have their own big area in Parañaque and they have a resort there, that's when it entered into his mind to teach kids how to swim. So I think it was somewhere in the early 60s that he thought of setting up his own swim school. But it was only until 1994 that it was little by little formally organized into what it is today.
Okay, so BLSS because for your father, Bert
Yeah,
Lozada Swim School.
at that time while he was teaching, he was more on servicing country clubs, villages. Slowly he was becoming famous with his own brand of teaching. It was not the traditional type. It was more of what he had invented based on what he saw in Australia and in the US. In fact, he was the first ones to teach babies the drown-proofing method wherein they lie down and no matter what position they'd fall in the water, they'd always float, cry so that it would attract attention and the babies ultimately get
So
saved.
your father had to go abroad to learn all these new techniques?
Yeah, he had to go abroad, learn it from some books, and also with his friends in the swimming community. He had his own brand. We call it Filipino style, the Bert Lozada style.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was your father was my coach
So
when
you're
I was
a good swimmer then.
I would like to think so. So how does it work? I mean, you're in a family business. I know your brother Angelo is also in the business. How does it work as a family business, and where and did you always want to be in the family
Well,
business?
as far as I can remember, it was in the 80s. Angelo and I were was in high school then. My dad would bring us every summer to teach swimming as his assistants, so that he can cut the wages a little bit
Yeah.
and not the overhead wouldn't be as. But little did we know that he was already molding us to taking over the business in the future. Angelo is a computer science graduate. I'm with business management. We tried working outside the family business, but little by little, we saw that our dad needed help. It was growing. He had a lot of students. There are a lot of demands for him to be in certain places. Especially, I think one he taught swimming in Bacolod for a short period of time, so that he can still come back to Manila and resume the summer swimming program. That's when we told ourselves, hey, dad needed help. So we quit our job. Angelo was into a partnership then, setting up a computer firm.
I think I
was-
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were assigned our own venues. Angelo was assigned, I think, in Philippine Columbian to handle it by himself, and I was a full-time assistant of my father way back then, because when my dad started this, he was the teacher, he was the accountant, he was the treasurer, he was the driver, he was everything molded under one roof until he was a jack of all trades. At that time, it started as a single lesson provider, probably 2 courses, infants and then children. Now we've evolved into an 8-course program from infants up to the triathletes, competitive swimmers.
Like it's summer, right? So basically, does your business just really thrive on summer, or is it the whole there? Do you have programs now? Because before, as far as I know, when we were younger, mga swimming classes only during summer. Because right now, the parents are so much. Their parents now, nako, what will my children do for summer? And it's really just usually for summer.
Yeah,
so
for summer.
does this really is this a summer program?
That was our problem before.
Yeah.
Siguro, it was just a seasonal thing. It was like only during summer do we have our business, and then during the school days we'd have close to 0 clients at that time. But it was Angelo, through he's more of a businessman than a computer science major. He thought of why not teach swimming in schools. Some schools have their own swimming pools, like Xavier School, they have their own pool. St. Paul, they have their own pool. St. Stephen, they have their own pool. It was like when we started, we were handling their varsity swimming program. But since it's so hard to get talents, develop talents, and mold them into competitive swimmers, Angelo thought of why not start with the PE? Make them strong swimmers, provide them with the right curriculum. instead of 1:40, that was the ratio before, 1:30, we'd have three teachers there, each dealing with the basic, the advanced, and the competitive. So each PE session will be geared towards what they already know, not vice versa, because sometimes you'd have good swimmers there being pulled down by the beginners because they comprise majority of the students. So this was a program developed by my brother Angelo, and now it's more of an advantage for the school because every time they go into a swim meet, they'd have an 80 to 100 strong swim team. As to compared to before, they'd have probably 10 or 12 and not as competitive. Now they have a steady stream of talents replenishing their swim team as the kids graduate on to college.
I can see that you have a Philippine flag
Yeah.
there in your shirt. So you also are
Yes.
you also in the Philippine team?
Well, we compete abroad. Some of our swimmers do compete abroad. They've been part of the Olympic team, the Asian Games team, and there are competitions, club level, wherein, because right now we have 18 clubs. We are handling 18 clubs.
Just in the Metro Manila
Just
area.
in Metro Manila, and very soon probably one outside the country and two in the provinces. We do attend swimming competitions abroad. We have our coaches there, and it's nice to have our Philippine flag now very nearby. And also, we attend conferences abroad for the advancement of our teachers and coaches, and it's nice to be known as a Filipino.
That's good. So so ngayon you said that you handled all these the students, and after that, I mean, where do they go? Did they after the high school or college they were swimming, and after that do they still continue being swimmers, or can you say that you are able to help them also in the in their being future citizens no, after school, their productivity?
Our goal actually when you enter BLSS and become part of it is to make swimming as your lifestyle. You don't stop swimming, especially for exercise. What's nice about LOZADA Swim School is that when you enter as an infant, you already have a program until you reach your elderly adult stage. First of all, we have the Baby and Me for infants. We have the Snapper for the toddlers. We have the Jammers for kids 8 years old to probably 12, 13, 14, 15. We have the fitness classes for the teenagers. We have fitness classes for the young adults and the elderly adults, the matured adults. And if whether you're going into competition or just recreation, competition now, as I told you, the triathlon thing is steadily catching up. We have courses for you if you want that, and we have courses for you if you want just swimming to be a stress reliever. So everything, that's what my dad always wanted. It was hard for him to say no. Like, for example, I want to be taught how to swim, but I already know a couple of, or I have zero knowledge in swimming. He will not say no. He will find a way to give you what you want. If he needs to go abroad and research it and learn the technology, he will bring it here to Manila.
So it's really passion that drove your
Yes,
father,
passion.
right?
And that same passion was
yes, that's what I
carried
was
over
gonna
to us.
to both of you. I can see that because and now, diba, you started, as you said, that your father training in clubs, single training, and that was then. And how has it evolved now?
Now we're going into the schools, like what my brother started.
Yeah.
We're going into the schools now, those with swimming pools,
Yeah.
even those without swimming pools, but they have swimming facility nearby. This is more like the Australian model wherein they really require the students, the children, to undergo swimming because it's a safety skill. So they can do it either with their physical education classes or they enroll themselves in extracurricular in weekend programs, so long as they will be taught the rudiments or the fundamentals of swimming, so that when they're in water, the beach, swimming pool, they're not in danger of drowning or accidents might happen, because we don't only teach the kids how to swim, we also teach them water safety, wherein we tell them not to swim alone, or to obey the pool rules, to enter the water we're supposed to using the stairs as opposed to just diving in. The water might be too shallow or too deep. We also remind them that not just because you're good swimmers, you will be safe no matter what. You still need to be careful.
So it's also the discipline. I would think that
The
discipline
discipline
that
of
will
training,
the
yes.
discipline